This is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. We're on the Nintendo Switch looking at this next entry within the Ezio Collection. So this is a three-part package that includes Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood as shown, and Revelations. I'll have videos for each of them up on the channel. For now, be sure to like the video, and subscribing is great as well. So this package has a very similar setup for this game as it did for Assassin's Creed 2. So that means we're getting a 1080p experience at 30 FPS. And yeah, it does actually, seem to be running decently well performance-wise. You're going to notice a little bit more pop-in some areas because it is a bit more of a, an open world type of experience. Things like that are going to be present, especially like countryside type stuff. Now, it is quite jagged around a lot of the edges, especially in the far distance, so keep that in mind when it comes to, the visual experience of the game, and playing on a TV. But when you're on a smaller, undocked experience for the Switch, you're going to notice that it is a bit more sharp. Just again, if you're up on a big screen, you're going to notice jaggedy edges around like the building, a lot of the steps, the characters, and whatnot. I would say that Ezio here looks quite sharp, aside from maybe his sword looking a bit jagged. But for the most part, it actually is like a pretty good visual experience, particularly if you are used to Assassin's Creed. It's going to be pretty good here on the Switch. You can actually take the experience out on the go, and it's a comparable experience to that of playing, the Ezio Collection on other platforms, right? We saw this release on Xbox One, and why am I having issues here? Usually your guy just like free jumps. And on PlayStation 4, we saw that last gen. So, it is nice that they are making this full package available on the Switch, because it does have the unique ability of being something that you can take anywhere, right? So that's actually fairly cool. I quite like that. And it's still got that same sense of scope that you would expect from Assassin's Creed games. You can see far off into the distance. There's a lot of buildings. There's a good quantity of NPCs that are present. It's not like the streets are deserted or anything like that, which is nice. It seems to largely retain that original experience, which for me is kind of important because the experience of these older Creeds is just really cool. The atmosphere, the capturing of the, the environment, the era, the way that like the language is used, the design of everything. It's really quite cool for these older titles, and they are a mix of, action, stealth, and combat. The series did begin to get more and more action-focused as things went on, eventually becoming more RPG-like. But, for now, we've still got... Oh, jeez. We've still got a really classic sort of combat in this one. So, for these games, you can, to a degree, kind of play through them individually if you'd like to, but you do get a little bit more value out of the experience if you do play them sort of as a story. This is the Ezio Collection, so this is about Ezio. So that is something to keep in mind gameplay-wise. If you're kind of wondering, hey, can I just jump into each of these? It's like, yeah, sure. But, there is more to it if you play them all together.
Give it to me. You can do with it as you will later. Bene. Jump!
Ta-ka! Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Again, the whole city's there, which is really cool, but yeah, it's so jagged in that backdrop. and again, when I say jagged, that has to deal with the sharpness and the clarity of the objects in the distance. It really is impressive, though, from the Switch. Even, we got some moving cloud stuff, which is kind of cool. And this was just sort of the action-packed opening that sort of sets the stage for what's going on. And I think we get a little bit of background context here. See, the loading is actually pretty impressive for the Switch, It's not, instant, but you get between fairly complex areas decently quick. And I think that's kind of nice. The iconic sitting in the Animus kind of loading sequence. But usually they're pretty fast. You can also skip cinematics by pressing start and then going to, well, usually there's a skip cinematic, but this is like an in-game sort of showcase thing, so I don't think we can, yeah. So this is our big, base type scenario. This is when you're going to see some of that a pop-in element of the gameplay. So keep that in mind as we're going through here.
Told of a disaster that occurred long ago,
and this is where I was saying some of the elements haven't, where the Switch struggles a bit, is with the objects in the environment.
Perhaps our work is finished.
So I don't know if you've already seen, but there were some objects like appearing. So just take a look to the scenery, and now it's gonna skip to a cinematic.
We upgraded the arsenal while you were away. Ah, and it is now customary for you to fire cannonballs at visitors. My apologies. We only installed them a few days ago. My men are still being trained in their use.
No, good thing they're not very good at being trained. But anyways, just keep a look into the draw distance there, and you're going to see a lot of objects kind of appear around us. I wonder if it's going to let me go off the... No, it's not. It's going to force me to kind of go this way. Because I want to take a little bit look at the open world on this stuff. But yeah, it's all here. This is one of the bigger areas that kind of sets the stage for a lot of stuff in the Assassin's Creed, like Ezio titles. But yeah, it's all kind of there, and you've even got subtle, like it's very much static images, but the clouds are actually moving in the backdrop, and I do find that to be a nice touch. Just adds a nice sense of realism. But I gotta say overall, I'm quite impressed with these different Creed games on the Switch because they actually have the full scope of the experience. Obviously it's not like a buttery smooth 60 or anything like that, but it keeps the 30 level going. It doesn't look too bad visually. I'm actually kind of impressed for it. You can play it on a TV and it's not too bad. And if you're on the go, which is kind of, again, the highlight point of the whole Switch there, it's going to look decently sharp, which is cool.
How is mother?
Now, keep in mind that, like animation and stuff like that. This is a very old game at this point, so that stuff's still going to feel quite aged.
Katarina? Here?
Is it finished then? Is the Spaniard truly dead?
Gather the others in Mario's study tonight. I'll explain everything there. Steel yourself, Ezio. They will have many questions. Claudia, tell the Contessa I look forward to seeing her this evening.
Great, so now we've got some goals to move around the city and to take some things in. I'm wondering if we can kind of sneak out or not, get on horseback and kind of take a look at a little bit of the open area. So once again, this game does have a number of different like location type spots you get into. Oh, but we got like a holes.
Buongiorno.
Ezio, Mario is going to murder me. I have lost his favorite horse.
Do not despair. I will bring it back.
God bless you, Ezio.
Nobody attended, and I had a very hard time paying.
I gotta chase down this guy's horse. Why are you running away? Horse, come back. Really? Oh, and the music and stuff is spectacular in the series. Oh. So you saw, well, again, it's like one or two objects, you might not even notice them, but there is some pop-in of stuff, especially when you get to some of the more free areas, you'll see more of that. It's like the odd tree, the odd bush. Seems to be a general thing with the Switch where, open world stuff struggles a bit. It's not too bad, but, it is something that is present, at least for me, visually.
Here.
Grazie, Ezio. I can no longer.
But these are great games, if you weren't aware of that.
You will enjoy your good health.
The Ezio Collection is a gem.
As your Uncle Mario.
My battles have already been won.
That is good news. Arrivederci, Ezio.
I guess we should go get this one up on the roof. It'll give us a good sense of the distance.
So, the These are the new cannons?
Yes, Signor Ezio.
May I try one?
Yes, but... Go on, tell him. We cannot seem to make them work properly, and the fool who mounted them is nowhere to be found.
Then it is up to me to find him.
We do not want to waste your time.
It is not any trouble. I have all the time in the world now.
Yeah, until a big battle erupts, right? See, like, the loading's actually not too bad. And you can see, like, pretty far out into the countryside. It's kind of, like, sparse, and you can see that, you know, the far backdrop's just like a painted image, but it's, all things considered, kind of decently impressive.
Salve, Messere. We need you to fix the cannons on the battlements.
Leave me be. I do not begin repairs before noon.
Do you know what time it is?
I make cannons, not clocks.
If you are busy, someone else will fix them.
Uno momento. No one else will touch my cannons. Soldiers have no respect for artillery. They expect a gun to work like magic. You need to feel her out. Give her a little encouragement. We are only equipped with simple cannons now, but I got hold of a design from France, a hand cannon. Something called a wrought iron murderer. Imagine firing a cannon from your hands. That is the future. What have you done?
We used them.
They were not ready for firing. You could have gotten us all killed. Let me see.
His breath is more fatal than our cannons.
Only when you two fools are shooting them. There, try it.
Time to fire the
Save us
cannons!
something to test the alignment.
If you couldn't piece it together, we're going to be doing a battle soon. That's why it's teaching us all of these different gameplay mechanics. A siege is almost upon us.
Perfecto. At least someone here knows how to shoot. Now, for the other one.
I must go.
Thanks for your help. If you hear the cannons tomorrow, do not worry. We will be practicing at dawn.
Too bad it will not do you any good.
Very funny. Now fix the second cannon.
Cannons are important for warfare. Why would you jump into the streets? Ah, you freaking break your knees doing that.
Ah, basta! What's wrong with you?
Need some help.
Salve.
So many flowers. Your husband must be very lucky.
I am the lucky one. I have you here to aid me.
Let me see what I can do.
Back there, I may have given you the wrong impression.
Oh?
I have no husband. The flowers are for a party.
Am I invited?
To Claudia Auditori's birthday party in the villa. If you are willing to help me again, I need someone with class to accompany me.
What makes you think I have class?
I could tell the moment I saw you. No one in this town walks with such bearing. I'm certain Ezio Auditore himself would be impressed.
Oh? What do you know of Ezio?
Claudia thinks the world of him, but he rarely visits her. From what I gather, he's distant.
She is right. I have been.
Oh no. You? The party was intended to be a surprise. Promise you will not tell Claudia.
What will you do to keep me quiet?
I am sure I can think of several things.
I'll be waiting to hear them when we get there. Now about earning my silence.
I have something in mind. There is one condition.
Anything.
You must wait until tomorrow.
If it pleases you, I will not stand in your way.
It will be worth the wait, Ezio. Trust me.
Oh, Ezio.
Buongiorno, Ezio.
Caterina, to what do I owe the pleasure of your presence here?
I desire an allegiance. The papal armies have resumed their march on Forli. Your mercenaries would be a great asset to my cause.
It is likely that I can give you what you seek. But we will talk later. Mother. Machiavelli. It is done. Though not, I think, as any of us expected. I entered the Vaticano and faced Rodrigo. No! Used the power of the papal staff against me, but I defeated him.
That cinematic is like
Finding the staff on the
really
apple, and access to the vault.
got some little bit rate to it.
There, a moving painting of the goddess Minerva spoke. She told of a terrible tragedy to befall mankind in the future, but gave hope of lost temples that will provide aid to humanity. And then she called out to a phantom, Desmond, as if he were there, standing beside me. After her warning, she vanished.
Amazing.
I cannot imagine such wonders.
The vault did not house the terrible weapon we feared. This is good news.
What of this goddess, this Minerva? Did she appear human?
Yes, but her words proved otherwise. All of her kind died many years ago. I wish I could show you the magic she performed.
Who is Desmond, and where are these temples Minerva spoke of?
I do not know.
Perhaps we must search for them.
Tell me how it ended with Borgia. Did Rodrigo beg forgiveness? Make excuses? Promise power in return?
No, none of those things.
Interesting. I'm surprised he remained so composed.
I let him leave.
The Spaniard lives? Once our enemies are dead, we can speak of vaults and gods and ancient places. You should have killed him. We're sure to suffer for it.
I am not here to debate the past. Together, we should discuss the future.
No. I am leaving immediately for Roma.
Ezio, I do not know why you spared him, but I trust your judgment. Machiavelli will come around.
Ooh. Steamy. Ooh, now the boots. Strangely seductive scene. Yeah, look who it is. Whoa. So risque.